even further beyond!
Yes, sir. My name's Zakashi, and in this video, I'm bringing you guys the best LF Sword of Hope Trunks kit that you ever see. It's a concept, so this is not the real deal, but if it was to come out like this, I think it would be very solid, and it's formed in a way where hybrids does not take over even more than it should. However, people can still be that type of player and actually make this a hybrids team because of the leader slot update. It's kind of unavoidable. However, I feel like because this guy here is actually going to be red, I'm putting that out straight away. It would make it less likely for him to be run because there are a lot of strong blues in the game. So hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this video. Let me know what you guys think, because I feel like just making a Sword of Hope Trunks when we have so many good hybrids is dangerous in itself, but this is built in a way where it doesn't actually benefit hybrids to the maximum. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press the subscribe button. We are on this grind to 25,000 subscribers. All my social media links are on the left. It's the YouTube channel, but we've got Twitter, Twitch, Reddit, Instagram, and a Discord link all in the description below. But yeah, man, I don't want to hold you guys up any longer. Let's actually get into the video now. Now, before I go any further into the video, I gotta shout out my boy Wxzzi. He's the one that actually formulated the majority of this kit. He sent me a kit concept for Sword of Hope Trunks, and I just kind of touched it up because some bits I feel like can be really dangerous if we implement them. Not going for too much of an optimistic type build, more so a realistic one where the unit can actually be used, especially how they say they try to make characters in correlation to what actually happened in the show. So, for example, I don't know, Super Saiyan 3 Goku has instant transmission. That just makes sense to me, and it should make sense to all of you. So we're going for consistency here, but a unit that can actually fit in the meta well, but also one that is living up to what they are in the show. But shout out Wxzzi again. You can check out his YouTube channel, it's in the description below, because he did a pretty good job with this and touching it up. I'm very happy with this overall build for Sword of Hope Trunks kit concept. But yeah, enjoy the video now. So the first thing with these kit concepts is the basics. It's going to be like this for every kit concept that I do. The stars are at 14 stars. Level is 5,000. For this Trunks, he's a melee type. I feel like that makes sense. For the tags, he's going to have the same tags as Trunks, Rage Trunks. So we got Hybrid Saiyan, Super Saiyan, Future, and Vegeta Clan. Used to be Vegeta Family, but it's not anymore. And like I said earlier, his element is red. The arts cards held, he's actually going to have 1 strike arts on him, and he's also going to hold a special arts. That's the green card, and it will make sense once you see the rest of the kit, but I feel like for those 2 cards being chosen for this character, it just makes so much sense, and it's going to work so well for him. The Z ability is really important, because you know there's 4 levels to it. Z ability 1, 2, 3, and 4. For Z ability 1, you actually get 22% to tag future base strike attack and defense. Z ability 2, you get plus 28% to strike attack and defense. Z ability 3, you get 32% to tag future or Vegeta Clan base strike attack and defense, and then it also adds on and 50% to characters that are both tag future and Vegeta Clan strike attack during battle. And then to end that off, that 15% turns into 18%, and then 32% turns into 35%. So I feel like that's a pretty solid Z ability right there. It's got the strike attack and defense, so you're getting both for both worlds, but only for strike, no blast in this kit here. Now for the stats, didn't want to go too crazy. I feel like they're just alright. Health is 2.6 mil, strike attack 267,000, blast attack 252k, strike defense 169k, blast defense 164k. I feel like that's okay, nothing really to question there, just some base numbers so we can get a hold of what he would look like. Now we're getting into the juicy bits. So his main ability is what we're going to go into next. He draws the ultimate arts card Sword of Hope next, restores own health by 50% and ki by 50, applies the attribute upgrade minus 50% to enemy sustained damage cut effects to self for 15 timer counts, and gain buff effect nullifies enemies special actions that activate when changing cover for 15 timer counts. Now off this main ability, it doesn't sound too crazy, but it is solid at the same time. I'd say it's just good. The main ability is just good. The sustained damage cut thing, if it was way higher, it would just be too ridiculous, and you'll see why later. But with this kit, went for like a build where he actually feels himself of having a lot of ki, and he'll have the ability to actually restore his health. So you need to actually be very strong with him, have endurance with him throughout the battlefield. Going into the first unique ability here, so unique ability 1, 30% to damage inflicted against tag powerful opponent. That makes sense because he literally packed up Zamasu. Applies the following effects to self when battle starts. So 70% to damage inflicted, cannot be cancelled. Reduces damage received by 30%, cannot be cancelled. 60% to key recovery, cannot be cancelled. And increases R-Scar draw speed by 1 level, cannot be cancelled. I feel like these are just base things. The draw speed, it might seem a bit much for people, but when you see the kit overall, it'll make a lot of sense. He also applies the following effects to self when this character enters the battlefield. So restores ki by 30, 20% to damage inflicted, cannot be stacked. So that's every time he comes in. On top of that, the last bit underneath it says reduces damage received by 30% when changing cover, and that only activates twice. So you have 2 chances to kind of like cut cover when cover changing. Obviously I said cut cover, take less damage when cover changing, which is actually really neat. So you have to make sure you use those up wisely, because you could put yourself in a position where you actually tank rise and rushes. So you can get 60% in total, but that's cut in half when you actually use it 2 times, because the base one that cannot be cancelled is 30%. Now unique ability 2, I feel like it's a lot more interesting, and for this character specifically, it just makes a lot of sense. Applies the following effects to self per defeated battle member. 20% to damage inflicted, cannot be cancelled. 20% to key recovery, cannot be cancelled. Applies the following effects to self according to the number of timer counts elapsed with current character. So 2 counts elapsed, restores ki by 5. 4 counts elapsed, restored ki by 5, and then 6 counts elapsed, restores ki by 5. So it's just so he can get more ki while he's doing card attacks with draw speed and whatnot. Just overall really good. And then it says effects reset after character switch, so he can do that every time he comes in. It's just something to have there so he can keep having ki to continue his combos. And then underneath it says while this character is on the battlefield, restores unique gauge according to ki charge time. Applies the following effects to self once unique gauge is full. Activates 3 times. So he has a unique gauge, yes. I feel like that needed to be in there. And the reason why I actually made that is because he's Sword of Hope Trunks. I feel like anybody who uses a Spirit Bomb, so Goku and this Trunks, should actually have a gauge where they actually build up that bomb in a sense, or in a sense of how it was done in the show. Everybody provides that person energy so they can do one big attack. So in this sense, he actually needs to fill up his gauge 3 times to get the maximum buff. And you can see every time he fills it up, he restores his own health by 5%. He gets 15% to ultimate damage inflicted, which can't be cancelled, and 50% to damage inflicted, which can't be cancelled. So overall, he'll be getting 45% ultimate damage inflicted and 45% damage inflicted just for filling up that gauge, which fills up by ki. I feel like it makes a lot of sense, because realistically he'll have to charge himself. However, if it was like in the show, everybody would be providing that energy for that Sword of Hope. So yeah, the Spirit Sword. The Strike Arts is just a regular Strike Art, so it has Slice. The Blast Arts is just a regular Blast Arts, it just has Impact. The special move is going to be a type where you actually have to go up to their face. So an example would be LF Super Saiyan 4 Goku, where he runs up to them with Kamehameha. It deals a massive slice damage, and it does plus 35% to special move damage inflicted for 5 timer counts. However, you actually get a benefit for filling up your gauge at least once. Remember I said you have to fill it up 3 times. So if you actually fill it up at least once and you use the blue card, you actually nullify endurance, and you also get blast armor with it. But if it's not filled up, you wouldn't get the nullify endurance and the blast armor with it. So just something, an incentive to actually use his unique gauge. It's going to be very important to use the unique gauge, because that's actually how you're going to get the maximum benefit from him. The special skill, it restores his own unique gauge by 20%, which is why he actually had a green card in his kit above. And he also restores his own health by 10% and ki by 10%. So overall, he's actually just going to be heightening the amount of like quote unquote energy he has, whether it's through his health, the ki, the gauge filling up more power, literally just like building up a Spirit Bomb, but in this case it's a Spirit Sword. Now the final part, and probably the most important part of his whole kit, we've got the ultimate arts. So right here we've got it to have supreme slice damage, and it actually is based off of his unique gauge, so that you actually get the maximum benefits when you actually play towards that. So for the first time you fill up the unique gauge, you can see after unique gauge is full one time, you get blast armor from it. So that means if you pop it prior to actually filling it up one time, you will not get blast armor from it. And that's very important to actually landing a lot of ultimate art. Most times it's usually in a clutch situation, so make sure you fill that up. You'd also just not have damage, so I don't know why you wouldn't want to in this scenario. For number 2, after unique gauge is full 2 times, you actually nullify endurance, which is actually a big W. So nullifies enemy restore health when it reaches 0 effects. When this character attacks for 15 time counts, cannot be cancelled. You get that for 15 time accounts, so even if you miss the ultimate arts, you still have a couple more seconds afterwards. That actually works very well with the actual main ability, because the main ability stops them from cover changing. So when you pop the main ability and you nullify their special action will activate when changing cover, if you pop the ultimate arts next, you can nullify the endurance and you can't stop them from cover changing, so nobody can save the day at that point except if they're a revival unit, which is probably the most tedious type of unit. But I didn't want to make anything too OP, so I didn't actually make it nullify revival. I feel like that would be ridiculous. But after it fills up 3 times, you get 55% of ultimate damage inflicted for 3 time accounts. So just for that ultimate arts that you pop straight away, I feel like that makes sense because I want the ultimate arts to be a buff. It wants to feel rewarding after you build everything up in that one battle, and you actually get the 55% that was off from the 45% ultimate damage inflicted in unique ability 2, where I mentioned his gauge. So 15% times 3 is 45. And if you add 55 to that, that's your 400%, on top of the fact that you also get 45% damage inflicted from that unique gauge being filled up 3 times. So it's very rewarding, keeping him alive to the end, very rewarding, building up the health, very rewarding, building up the key, the gauge, everything is building up for that one final attack, which actually embodies what sort of hope Trunks is. That's the end of the video, man. Thank you for watching the whole video. Let me know what you guys thoughts are on this. I feel like it wasn't too ridiculous, but at the same time it's something you have to work for in a battle. It's not something that's going to be fed to you. You actually have to be serious about building up this Trunks's unique gauge so that you can actually get that bomb of an ultimate. Whereas let's take FSK for example, he just becomes a demon of the fact that he's alive last and then pops his main. Like, that's free food. Like, they're just feeding him. But this guy, you have to work for it. So at least if he's OP, the actual enemy actually built that up and deserved it. I think it's really good. Shout out Wxzzi again for helping me with this. Very solid. Check him out. He's got a channel. I said it's going to be in the description. It should be in the pinned comment as well. Let me know what you guys think is going to come for Black Friday. This does not have a direct correlation to Black Friday, but I feel like because Black Friday is usually future based, sort of hope Trunks is actually just a good guess, and there's been quite a few convincing hints leading towards him. And I will say they've just been dropping a lot of future characters, so it does make sense also. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it like that. Press the subscribe button if you haven't already on this grind to 25,000 subscribers. Like I said at the start of the video, all my social media links on the left. Is the YouTube channel, but we've got a Twitter, Twitch, Reddit, Instagram, and a Discord link all in the description below. But I don't have anything else to say, man. Appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you guys for 23,000 subscribers. My name's Zakashi, guys, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Please, lend me your energy! You're through!